Alright, so welcome to this video. This video I'm going to show you how to make the shots that you've seen at the beginning of the video. Now you can cut this directly on your fabric. It's not going to be any issue. Whatever I do here, do the same thing on your fabric. I just have a preference for using my paper so that you guys can see what I'm drafting clearly. So let's begin. The first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to come away from the edge of your fabric or paper. So you just throw your fabric down, and then you are going to mark 4 inches away from the top of the paper and 4 inches away from the corner. So watch what I'm doing. Alright, after you do that, the next thing you are going to do is we are going to take your waist measurement and we are going to divide that measurement by 3 inches. So in this case, I'm dealing with a waist that is 29 inches. 29 inches divided by 3 gives us 9.6. I'm going to approximate that number to the nearest whole number to 9.6, which is 10 inches. So 9.6, I'm going to mark 10 just to round it up. Okay, if we look at the tape, this is 9.6. okay, this is 10 inches. So let's place 10. So you're going to put your tape over here at this point here where both lines intersect. All right. Then after you have placed this line, what I want you to do is I want you to place your tape and go around here, okay, measure around the waist and find the midpoint, so the middle of the curve that we just drew. I ended with 16. I had 16 inches, so I'm going to divide 16 inches into 2. If you divide 16 inches into 2, it should give us 8 inches. All right, so you're going to come like so, 8 inches, and make a mark. So after you have found this midpoint here, next thing we're going to do is we're going to place our trouser length. Now I want to have a 1.5 inch band. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place 1.5 inches on this line. You see this line here where we drew our curve. I'm going to place 1.5 inches on that line, and then you will place your trouser length. So for me, the short length, that I'm working with is 15 inches. So I'm going to make a mark at 15 inches, and then you will mark 15 inches everywhere all the way across to the other side. So make sure to place 1.5 inches right on this curve here, all right, and go around. After you have done that, you're going to need to choose where is your front and where is your back. So you see this midline that we have running here. I want you to just rule a straight line. It doesn't really matter. Just rule a line there to demarcate where is the front and where is the back. So you have to choose which of these parts here you want to make front or back. It doesn't really matter which where you choose. You can decide to draw the front there and the back here, wherever is comfortable for you. All right. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to this side here, and I'm going to make this my front. So because I've picked here to be my front, we are going to have to place our crotch measurement. Now the crotch measurement I'm working with is 10 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw away 1.5 here from my band, and I'll make a mark at 10 inches. So because this is the front, we are going to come into here by 2 inches. So you're going to come from this line that we have here. You're going to come in by 2 inches, and you're going to make a mark. Alright, this mark here is going to help us with creating our crotch. And then you're going to make a curve and stop here. This is where the 2 inches stops. Simply make a curve from here and join it back with the body. And then the next thing we're going to do, you're going to come over to the hem. You're going to make a mark at 1 inch here. So at the end where we have this curve, you're going to make a mark at 1 inch there. You're going to connect here to here. And then we're done with here, okay? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over to this part here that's supposed to be our our back. That's the back of our trouser, of our shorts. I keep saying trouser, of our shorts. And then what I want you to do is this. I want you to come up also by 1.5, make a mark at the crotch, which is 10 inches, which is what I'm doing here. make a mark at 10 inches, and then for the back you're going to come out by 3 inches and make a mark. Alright, and then you're going to make a line here, and then at the bottom here you're going to come out by just 1.5. okay, connect here to the top, and then the next thing we're going to do is, before we make the curve, we're going to have to do one more thing. Now, the reason why I asked you to place this midpoint in the first place is because when we're making shorts, trousers, whatever, the back is always higher than the front because of your bum is at the back, and for most people the bum protrudes out away from your back. So we're going to have to make provisions for that. Okay, so that's the reason why I told you to find this midpoint, because this midpoint will tell you where that slope towards the top should start. This midpoint here is somewhere around here on your waist. So from this point, you need to start going up because of your bum. That is why you have to find that midpoint. So before we draw our curve, you're going to need to come up here by just 1 inch is going to be enough in this case. But if you know that you're a person that has, a large, backside, you can go up as high as 1.5. Alright, so place that there, and then you're going to need to connect this curve to there. By doing this, I have made the back higher than the front. Next thing we're going to do, at this point, we can now make that our crotch curve. Okay. Alright, so now before we cut this out, we've cut the front and the back of our trouser. Before we cut it out, we're going to need to add allowances. But so when we are cutting, you watch closely and see where I'm cutting. I'll cut 1 inch at the bottom of my shorts. I'm going to cut ½ inch of sewing allowance here. I'm going to add ½ inch of sewing allowance around here. I'm going to add ½ inch of sewing allowance at the top part of my waistline. I'm going to add ½ inch of sewing allowance here and ½ inch of sewing allowance here. So just watch and see what I'm doing. Alright, now that we've cut it out so that you don't get things mixed up, I'm going to label it. F is for front of the pants and B is for back of the shorts. Why do I keep saying pants? Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in half for you to see what I was talking about. So when I fold this in half, you can see, make sure that you put the weights there, you can see that the back, okay, the back of the shorts is higher than the front over here because of that thing that we did, and that's how it's supposed to be. If you don't do that, you will always know that discomfort, as if, I don't know, it just always looks wrong and it's going to feel wrong. So make sure that you do that. So we're going to have to add pockets to this. So because of that, we're going to need to slash this in half. I want to add pockets to the side, okay, because my wife will kill me if I don't add pockets, but I'm going to need to add pockets to the side. I'm going to tell you how we're going to do that. But first, I'm going to cut here open after I have folded it. Okay, so the F will be used to cut the front and the B would be used to cut the back. I'll put my paper on my fabric on a fold before I cut. So this is the fabric I'm using. I have roughly a yard and this little piece here. So if you are going to make this, I would say 1.5 yards is the safe amount of fabric you will need, because you need to cut the band and the pocket also. So before I start to cut, I'm going to need to put my fabric on the fold. So you can see this is on the fold. I'm going to place my pattern on top and I'm going to cut it out. Alright, so now the first thing I will do is I'm going to join the fronts together. I'm going to start from here, alright, so that's from the waist, and I'm going to stitch. By the time I'm like 1 inch, 2 inches away from the end of the crotch here, then I would stop and I would lock it there, alright. After stitching the front, we're going to have to do the same thing to the back, but I'm going to leave 7 inches away from the waistline, okay, away from the waistline, and I'm going to start from here, and I'm going to stitch. I would still stop roughly 1.5–2 inches before I get to the end here. All right. Then after that, next thing we will do is to join the front and the back together. So this is the back that I have on the table, and this here is the front. All right, this here is the front. You can see that it's lower at this point here. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip this open, all right, and we're going to open this and place it there. So you see, this is the front side. This is the clean front side of the short is going to face of the front is going to face the clean part of the back over here. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to join them at that point. All right, so I'm going to join both of them together over here. All right, that's what I'm doing, basically joining the inner part of the thigh together. Okay, now after you have joined both sides of the thigh, inner part of the thigh together, so we have joined here and we have joined here. This would be the best time to take this to your overlocker if you are making this commercially as ready to wear. You now use your overlocker to finish here and finish here before the next step. But if you are making this for yourself or for free like I am doing for my wife, you are going to now need to stitch across from front to back. So you see this place here, we're going to now complete, remember those stitches that we left in half, we're now going to have to complete it all the way across, okay? That will now be the best time to use your overlocker or your weaving machine or your serger to finish from here all the way and stop somewhere around here, all right? And then you use your overlocker to finish the left of the zipper allowance separately and the right of the zipper allowance separately. All right, so on to the next step, which is the pocket. All right, so here I have my fabric I intend to use for my pocket. I cut this to be 17 inches long at 12 inches wide. All right, you're going to need to cut 2 of these, and whatever I do to this one, you will need to do to the other. All right, so when you've done that, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to cut the entrance of the pocket. So when I say the entrance, see the way I folded my fabric in half. You're now going to come and you're going to measure. Let me get my chalk, please. You are going to come from the top of your fabric, all right, and you are going to measure down to 8 inches, all right, and you are going to make a mark. After you've made a mark at 8 inches, you are going to come in to 1 inch and make a mark, all right, and then you are going to slowly make a curve from here out. You can go ahead to cut it. Alright, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just round off the top part of the pocket. We don't need it to be so squarish, so you just simply cut a curve off the top part of the pocket, and with that you've created the shape for the inner pocket. Make sure to cut 2 of these because we're going to need 2 pockets. Alright, so now I have 2 pieces here for my pocket. Let me show you how to install one. You're going to install the second one by yourself. So you're going to need to pick up the waist, so you can see this part here is the back, this part here is the front. I'm going to turn everything inside out. Now we have our pants here. This is the front part here. You're going to pick up the back part that corresponds with the front. So this is it here. Alright, now when you found both of them, you're going to come down 3 inches away from the waistline and you're going to make a mark. This is where the pocket is going to start from. Then you're going to come to the back that's supposed to correspond with that side, and you're going to come 3 inches away from the top. Alright, this is the top over here. And then next thing we're going to do is you're going to get your pocket. So the top part here of one side of your pocket, you're going to stitch it on, consuming 1/2 inch. you are going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So you take the top part of the pocket and you're going to align it with where we made the mark, all right, for where it's supposed to start. And you're going to simply stitch the entrance all the way down. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to join the waistline together. So I'm going to start joining from the waist, and then I'm going to join around the pockets, and then come out from the down part and finish it off. So just watch and see what I'm doing. Also, this will be the best time to use your overlocker to finish just the pockets seam that the joining we just made now. This will be the best time to use your overlocker to join it together so that it is neat. Alright, now I'm going to go around. Alright, so if I turn this leg inside out, you see that by creating that pocket, we've also joined the side, and we still have a nice little pockets here. Alright, so I'm going to repeat the same thing for the other side, which is this side over here off camera. And then alright, so by the time we do both sides, we have made the shorts. We have our pockets over here. Alright, we have a pocket here, we have a pocket over here. The next thing I'm going to do, or the next thing you should do if you're making this commercially, is you're going to have to use your overlocker now to finish the rough edge. So you start from here, go around the pockets, come back, and then you run towards the hem. That's the end of the short. And after you have done that, you can now hem the bottom part of the shorts by folding 1/2 inch twice and stitching all the way around. Alright, so after we do that, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to measure the waistline of your shorts. So you're going to start from here and measure all the way through. For me, I have 32 inches. So what I want you to do is I want you to head over to your cutting table, and I want you to cut 32 inches by 5 inches. So if you look and see, look at what I have here. This here is 32 inches long. So from here all the way down to here is 32 inches, and it is 5 inches wide everywhere. I'm now going to head over to my ironing table, and I'm going to iron gum stay. If you have air stay, that's also going to be very okay. But I'm going to now iron lightweight gum stay on half of it. So on 2.5 inches of this, I'm going to iron gum stay all the way down. On the other side, I will not iron gum stay. If you have air stay, that will work just fine as well. Alright, so now that I have ironed it on the wrong side, as you can see, I'm now going to join this to the waist. So I'm going to start from this opening here on the zipper allowance, and I'm going to run all the way to the other side. I'm going to join 1/2 inch. Alright, so now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install my pockets. So I'm going to start from 2 inches after the joining. That's when I'm going to start installing my zipper. So like I was saying, I'm going to start installing the zipper 2 inches from this point here. That's right where I have where my airstay stops, and then I'm going to come 1 inch deep from here, and after I pass here, I'm going to slowly taper out to the 1/2 inch that we have here. So I'm going to sew 1 inch, and once I hit this joining I have here, okay, from here I'm going to now slowly taper out to 1/2 inch here. I'll do that on the left and on the right. Alright, and then by the time we have done that, if we turn over, you see that we have installed our zip. I'm about to show you what I just did here using this other side, because that's going to allow us to turn our zipper neatly. But if you see, I've attached my zipper. If I zip up, you can see that. So let me show you how I did this over here neatly. Okay, how I turned my zipper here neatly. What you are going to do is you are going to bend, you see this part here, you are going to bend it, push out the excess of your zipper away. You're going to bend your Ankara down, alright, and then you're going to have ½ inch of allowance here, and you fold it back up. Remember, we came only 2 inches, we cut 5 inches. The first 2 inches is this part here, the second 2 inches is this part here. We are left with 1 inch. This is ½ inch, and it's ½ inch we use to attach the band to the trouser. I hope you understand how that 5 inches went now. So I'm going to fold this like I have done, and then I'm going to stitch down on this red line that I have here in order to hold the back here down. Alright, so after I have done this, you see I have finished here neatly, and I have finished this part of my zipper neatly as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to head back to my ironing table, and I'm going to fold this ½ inch everywhere around the waistband, and I'm going to iron the ½ inch. And by the time I've folded it and ironed it like this, I'll be back so that we can stitch the band, hold it down, and finish this off. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch my band all the way around. I'm going to hold it down from here all the way to here by stitching the front here, and it's going to be clean. And by the time I do that, I'm done with this. If you followed all the steps, you've woven when I told you to weave, you would have a very neat short. And this band also, this is the perfect way to fix it for a short like this. If you've watched this far, thank you for watching. Do follow me on Instagram. In the coming year, I would also be trying to build my following on Instagram as well. So follow me there in order to see what I'll be doing there, because I'll also be dropping short tricks and tutorial on my Instagram as well as what I'm doing here on YouTube. So follow me on Instagram. Thank you for watching. Let me stitch this band down.